Is it just us, or has the car world gone insane? All things considered, alright, crazier. As proof, we offer the way that producers now not just routinely drag their elite autos to the famous Nürburgring to break lap records, they're presently doing likewise with their hyperactive SUVs. Two SUV heroes as of now competing for ranked lap time matchless quality and the brand cred that accompanies it are Porsche, nothing unexpected there, and little Alfa Romeo. It's a David and Goliath minute, and, as in the antiquated illustration, the little person is winning. The new 505 horsepower Stelvio Quadrifoglio, with Alfa manufacturing plant driver Fabio Frangi in the driver's seat, as of late burned a squirming 12.9-mile strip hung over the Eifel Mountains in 7:51.7. It was the speediest ever lap for a generation SUV and beat the Porsche Cayenne Turbo S's best exertion by 8 seconds. You need to know how brisk that is? In 2008, Cadillac was blissful when its supercharged, 556 horsepower CTSV car dealt with the 7:59.3. After 10 years, the Caddy and a great deal of other hot autos have been smoked by a truck. Such a great amount for rational soundness. The course fun proceeded on this side of the Atlantic at Alfa's Stelvio Quadrifoglio Media Dispatch. It was arranged at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, which has been on the Formula One move card since 2012. You can speculate the organization's goal. Fortunately, the primary portion of our early on day in the driver's seat was out and about, where we expect all Stelvio QFs to spend their whole working lives. Alfa is discerning of that reality, says Stelvio QF boss architect Andreas Isaac. Alfa focuses to the Porsche Macan Turbo with performance bundle and the Mercedes-AMG GLC 63 Roadster as the Stelvio QF's main adversaries. We'd likewise incorporate the 707 horsepower Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. We needed to assemble the best superior SUV, he said. Be that as it may, we additionally needed it to regard drive out and about. We needed it to have genuine Alfa identity. That the Stelvio has. In view of an indistinguishable Giorgio engineering from the Giulia Quadrifoglio car, it obtains that auto's 505 horsepower twin-turbocharged 2.9-liter V6, paddle-moved 8-speed programmed, and shrewdly named DNA Pro skeleton control framework, with its dynamic, natural, which is typical, and advanced efficiency driving modes. As on the Giulia QF, there's likewise a fourth mode marked Race, which adds up to truth and publicizing. It turns off all strength and footing control implementation. The enormous mechanical distinction for the Stelvio QF from its car cousin is that it acquires the base SUV's all-wheel drive framework, while the Giulia QF is race drive as it were. The Stelvio framework defaults to sending 100% of the ability to the back wheels much of the time, yet can carry up to 60% of it to the fronts when race slip is identified, like in snow or rain. Or on the other hand on a race course. The QF's taking care of is likewise supported by a torque vectoring back differential that can send 100% of the torque to either race wheel, as footing and driving modes direct. Like the built-up Giulia Quadrifoglio car, the Stelvio QF's body is sustained with stiffer springs, bigger against-move bars, and all the more capable Brembo brakes, 6-cylinder fronts and 4-cylinder backs, versus the base auto's 4-cylinder fronts and single-cylinder backs. Additional expansive carbon artistic rotors are a $8,000 alternative. Fat 20-inch Pirelli P Zero summer tires extraordinarily produced for the Stelvio QF, estimated 255/45 R20 front and 285/40 R20 race, wrap-around spindly combinations roused by vintage Alfa Romeo wheel outlines. A large group of warm administration parts, including a variety of coolers, warm exchangers, and hood vents, keep the QF from self-immolating when squeezed into track utilize. While the equipment guarantees racecourse ability, our 100-mile street drive northwest of Austin affirmed this is no stripped-out, track day exceptional of SUV. It's a completely outfitted extravagance SUV including multi-movable power front seats to a standard 14-speaker Harman Kardon sound framework. It's agreeable and in addition competent, inviting and also red-hot. The QF's inside is fundamentally preferable dressed over in the bass Stelvio, as it ought to be in a vehicle with a base cost of $81,590, in spite of the fact that that lesser model sets a genuinely low bar. In any event, the workaday Stelvio's chintzy plastic bits are more subtle here, and there are better covers wherever in the lodge, including smooth cowhide on the dash and entryways, situate additions of artificial calfskin, and trim bits moved up to genuine carbon fiber. A 8.8-inch infotainment screen worked by a rotating controller on the Comfort is standard, and the framework incorporates Root, SiriusXM, and Android Auto and Apple CarPlay ability. While not as plainly lavish as the best-in-sides from Porsche and Mercedes-Benz, the QF's lodge is persuading enough for a brandishing hauler whose catalyst lies somewhere else. The QF choices list is short. Enhancing bits go from an all-encompassing sunroof to a couple of hot yet entirely pointless Sparco carbon fiber shelled dashing seats. Versatile journey control and path takeoff cautioning are discretionary, however most other dynamic well-being tech is standard. Pick between inside, outside, and brake caliper hues and you're practically done. Plainly, this isn't a Porsche. As we advanced through the coagulations of morning Austin metro activity, the QF was all around acted, despite the fact that it beats with an undercurrent of physicality and crude power holding up to be released, similar to NFL linemen sauntering down a walkway. The fumes note is a furious growl, and the 8-speed programmed moves flawlessly. Reaction from the extensive section-mounted aluminum paddles is quick and is joined by a delightful ensemble of braps and pops. Speeding up comes in turbocharged deluges. Alfa claims the Stelvio QF is a tenth of a moment snappier to 60 miles per hour than the Giulia QF despite the fact that it's around 550 pounds heavier. Thank the all-wheel drive framework, which gives more hold at dispatch. In the event that preferred standpoint remains constant in our testing, anticipate that a 0–60 mph time of around 3.6 seconds. Top speed is an asserted 176 mph on Texas Route 45, which has a 80 mph restraint. The QF loped along half-snoozing admirably over the posted speed, however a strong nudge of the throttle influenced it to take off like a startled gazelle. Other than crude speed, the Stelvio QF offers a measure of at-street artfulness. This is a driver's auto. Did we simply say auto? Indeed. It felt that certain on the smooth Texas two-path streets, smooth as they were with rain and haze amid our morning excursion. It cornered with faithful soundness, apparently adhered to the gleaming, wet landing area, and showed surgical teal-sharp controlling and little body roll. On the more tightly areas of our drive course, the directing exertion felt wispy and the vibe was somewhat removed. Changing to dynamic mode included some gravely required heave. The main bad marks we can give the QF in everyday driving were the motor's inclination to emanate an aux-like groan amid low RPM cruising and the brake-by-wire framework's sensitive low-speed reaction. Yet, no faults collect to it as a track weapon, just gold stars. We kept running around 20 laps on the heavenly Coda course, tossing the Stelvio QF around at hustling speeds, effortlessly hitting 135 mph on the back straight with the dynamic fumes totally open and radiating a hysterical wail. Exchanged into race mode, the QF's directing exertion and fondle amp extensively and turned out to be satisfyingly open. Squeezed as far as possible, the dragster Stelvio dealt with much like a fair-size back-drive sports car, thundering out of tight corners with its tail crawling sideways, constantly simple to get control over. Its all-around adjusted case pardoned our ham-fisted control contributions as we took in the track, and its brakes, with the discretionary carbon pottery on the track autos, were dependable, intense, and blur-free. It was a bravura execution that few Stelvio Quadrifoglio proprietors will ever encounter their SUVs so distinctively is both expected and a frustrating misuse of car ability. Be that as it may, Recall, this is a vehicle with common sensibilities and, with the back seats collapsed, 57 cubic feet of load space. It will achieve merchants in the second quarter of 2018, after which we expect in excess of a couple of rushes to IKEA and excursions to get the children at school will be completed in extraordinary flurry in SUVs wearing the Lucky Charm identification on their flanks. Also, by drivers wearing an expansive grin.